in a very efficient manner. We simply pool the samples. What is pooling? Pooling just means that if you have 1,000 samples, you put them in pools of 10, and therefore you test at a time 100 pools. So in a time, instead of testing only 1,000 samples, you actually test 10,000 samples. This simple arithmetic is what some people cannot do. If you want to understand how we are able to utilize our existing facilities using a method which was in 1945 for screening samples right from the blood bank, this is a very efficient way of proceeding. The other thing we've done is that to ensure that we're actually not diluting the sample when we mix 10 of them together, we simply one positive sample which was at the limit, the detection of our system, and diluted with 9 other samples which were negative. Therefore, we would determine that if we pool 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 together, we have to detect the first sample which is at the limit of the positive detection.
We've done a series of things that have had a very far-reaching impact on our social as well as economic life and on individual rights. Big conferences, workshops, religious activities, sporting events, political rallies was imperative. And the borders remain closed up till today. It has cut off a very important area of infection, that is people from abroad come, especially those who are coming from some of the epicenters of the world, which are the people that really our country deals with most: Europe, America, Asia. We then went further to impose a partial lockdown on our two main and their contiguous areas, Accra and Kumasi, because the evidence that we had at the time the decision was taken was that the disease was located in these two areas, and we wanted the opportunity to be able to go after the disease, identify those in the population in these two areas who had caught the virus, do our best to isolate them from the population and then treat them. As of Sunday, where we broadcast, the negative numbers are there, the numbers who are dead are there, but it would appear that the rate of infection in Ghana is still relatively low, 1.5%. By global standards, that is very low. And that has been consistently the narrative that has developed over these 3 weeks of the partial lockdown. So in review, came to the conclusion that we now have in place
I say media wine beka. Woman ni be si kwa paso wine beka ho asem. Miaro miara. Na se what is adomane wo so say ya. Nature sa samaba. Ye bodero at the fenipa. Ye bodero at the framan sign. Mombra ne nto ato adwen. Mombra ye ndin komo. Yen hwe sene ye nyina ye betimi akyekyere ye man. Wo ma Ghana se be ye gina wo so egina ye nyina ye nso. Entia de ntina ye nyina ye ntina se ye ndwendwene ye man Ghana ho. Awie si agi akonya ne ye ba badwene wo ma Ghana ho ni ye yo enko. Ade na wo ye ma wo man. Ye nana no mbiri wo mo mojani. Wo mo ku okuden agi wo man Ghana si ho. Ene atowo atom okuden ne mo man. Ashirema wiase afa na nyina ehunu. Eya na ye kan ye se Ghana eye gateway to West Africa, gateway to the world. But young Ghana ye betimi asi abo akasa young Ghana yi ene ni gateway na na. The youth of this country must rise. There is a responsibility on our shoulders. There's a task. I was here nyina no. Ye di ani di akire. Na so wo fa bi wa bontina bisa ne say oh aban ono hwan a di onipa ne beka kire wa ne say oh omampani ne nasoafo wo mo ene ya aban no. Ghana youth of today wo mo nim say aban ye chichiri kuro a eye the youth of the city na wo mo chichiri kuro no. Ya frampanyimfo aka kire wo sempanyimfo mundi yanim kan. Ejo na nkoda na hwe mpanyimfo no na mpanyimfo ne kwamponso de na wo mo ye. Miara oh me my Ghana. Sir, and now asam ne yan tinase ne yan ka ho asem a na se epa ho a Daben ne be ka asem no awi no ya gia boso ya wo so odoma ne de ne yesi ya hya asia ne sam se wo ko school na se otisi ya ba adoma no a na bi ya Britain na aba e bi so ya assembly na aba na assembly banko da na is headmaster wo ho mini se bebre na mo bi sa se na ni ye free hifa because ani amunima na mini akwam ya free fa kwame what in a hand say na higher a jana so shit but na kwame ne hu mfa no kakra nti ne ba be gina ne na mu ni akokoden ya ye ne se ne wo se ye no na Ghana ho miara Mediane Samuel Eshun me no what in Samuel ya kopem say about 5 o'clock and come to share bebre and come on. But there is something which I want to share with the youth of today. Me pesa and youth of today no me boss sound bi kakra e de ma mona mutie ansa ne ya hyejume asekra tie sa asemi.
Secondly, see your tormented faces. How you was able to think of killing.
Butterfly, sir. Yabba. On the top of the
Sounds like this.
Happy 98.9 FM. 19 minutes after 1. Epa ho da be jumedi na wutie. Ewie insem ne doso. And that will prick your mind, will prick your conscience. Ye be sound said na wo ye fa wo man Ghana ho. Ade be nkomode na akodu adwuma wodie. Now, for the past 10 years, for the past 15 years, for the past 20 years, what has been your contribution? What has been your quota? And then live this afternoon on Happy 98.9 FM. And we didn't crunch some kakrebi at the Babro. Media 2. Now the Kakrasha could be a Musania Fatisha Boali Canano. Near we are. And no be cost our my more abufuno. Yanka ho asem ena na se pa ho a da be beka sa asem no enti ne abaje mra ne adi san komo ni nyina ana efia ha ba ya hye efia because opanyin kasia bi e ba studio hanem se ni bedi nkomo NDC national chairman of some people ba kan sa ye ni bedi nkomo e wo dwumadi NDC mun sense menche ye bia no mo suspended. One former Central Regional Chairman, but the son almost suspended. One more summer boycott piece, one more assessment of the government, and another Dango Kufodo. I remember one who said performance in terms of the fight against corruption, performance in terms of infrastructure development, performance in terms of education, in terms of the health structure, in terms of the fight against COVID-19. Nina Yadihun Komo area, our happy 98.9 FM. Mosha Kwasembo Jumedi Facebook, but challenges kakrebi enti jumadi ne ekoso our YouTube ya TV enti wo call YouTube no wo search wo Happy TV change your partners on your live wo se jumadi ekoso live our YouTube na wo hwe jumadi ne our YouTube na wo share send adofo so be hu de ekoso aye de ya obetimi send views comments or thoughts any bibia ade abrand your WhatsApp line aye 02022220067 me anton ka ene we ni oni nkomo wa ba ye to adwene afọ man Ghana ho
abandon now what time no
about the sign now mini anu na me no tid memu about the sign no fa me ho adwubone mini anu na me no ye adwuma adenti na wo mpo ma ye mpegi adwuma no na dan nyina de wo kan sa akọ onya de bati amanfo nyina kan sa akọ ya woni mpefe se de ekoso adwuma wo na enye na mum so wa akọ sade ne nyeni nti wo ye fon na wo hwe ebede na o ma Ghana tumpon Black Man Devil nene enyuma wutie no Jualaka the late Jualaka masa mo nya afra me na me nti kokom ne ani nkomo na kire me se hanem se na me twasa na fa enye 22 minutes after 1 Happy 98.9 pa ho adwumadie ana pa ho adaba adwumadie ana wotie no medini Samuel Eshun metinemu ama menia kwame afrifa ene no ho mfa no kakra enti mabeje na dwa for the next 3 or so hours me no wotina adwumadie no esom yesha enkomotwetwe na se anything about 2 or 3 weeks ago na me drive ya homachi aba adwuma. And to me, bana me bedroom traffic light, me approach traffic light in a museum. I didn't ask yellow until me said automatically. I saw red. And see, I saw red now. Me approach castle on the museum. cars no mienu a e won finfin no wo mo e saloon cars and to my left no so e some big truck bi immediately na me hear me calculations na me say no so me de me kodi car kese na chi a senia car kese no start here ni initial velocity ni kwampo no cars na kan be kwa jamin and immediately na me kodi ye 2 saloon cars no achi. And to me, could you make a so green light? A so green light to my amazement. Na car kesi ni mono. A 2 aqua cars and kita a demon no. One more anti me uncle. I didn't yet cause back one mono. I saw no one can say what 20 bossy. He is not in a rush. Uncle baby, our 20 bossy and a walker. There's a lesson I want to share with you this afternoon. Bibi o mama pese a we me watch. And the same. Abrabo enye America. Abrabo yen fire on to Toby. Abrabo ensure bi na nkase ebia waka akire anase wudi kan me kodu me hu cars me de me hu to say oh car saloon cars de wo movement aye fast intino they will move faster but ankonisa sounds now no bi ba kwotena classroom ebia no abiche o ebia no abiche onipa no but by the time abrabo no ebe ko na wie na onipa no wodi onim kan eno anche se waka abrabo no waka akire na mum abrabo obia ne level ani senia obo na abrabo esifa ebimu hyase no mu wie ntem ebimu hyase mu wie ntem ebimu emfinfin ansa na omo left from right ansa na timi akọ abrabo no enti nyan fa ho tutu obi so ono classmate bi mu ko school na enne ebia wo dia the next will determine say onipa no either so be pan ho anasa ono ne be pan ho en show bi ho enfam bo abrabo. There are big companies in this country. 10 years ago, they were doing fantastic. And then, they are nowhere to be found. But smaller companies, 10 years ago, they were nowhere to be found. No? And now you look around, they are the companies that are thriving and doing so well. Abrabo and Yemrike too. And this is to the youth of the country. The Americans say, and show be home from Abrabo. And show be home, and that's what they can. Because life sometimes will throw challenges at you. Now, so life, at the sound of money, ebo akwemu na wantimi ansia no a ehuse abrabo no say and it here we futo kakra me de ema wo se utie me na awie o happy 98.9 FM ame wo su kakra sa kwame wo ha say an obey no nti sanso ne ye no happy 98.9 FM epa ho Daben dwumadie am ne odi no mbe wo ha na awie mbesem ne odi ho nkomo asem no ane saying who tie me dwumadie wo pepa who tie me politics no pepa who tie me politicians no promise pa who tie me Ghana sane akono ebia wani nso but me were few questions am person me bisa say and now we show the youth of this country a woman nyina person mo politics mo a many a would me be sincere with yourself. I always tell people say pen no krona enti ha won pet no krona enti Happy FM. Maybe so was say the youth of the country omunyina person mo politics mo no e die enti anon person mo politics mo. Be sincere with yourself and give me a response. But now some politics, it is because of wealth. It is because of say woman kasa ebenyo musika. It is because of say ye sika kakra ye as a mind and to work kakra ye taxes are ye tuano send ya woman benya sika no ade ahwe man kan mo busua no. That is the reason why some politics mo. And if we say youth no adwene omo kutani enti no some politics mo na woman na ye kone sen and then enya position kakra bi or political party bi mu na say ebia wo bedi animu any 3 weeks or so per dime or per car or per hunya de and Ghana hunti and the youth of this country one more person more politics mu senior one kasabenu at the expense of the ordinary person and no antina bebre na no one person more politics mu and apparently ye dwumade no and afati bisa am asem bi Raymond bisa am asem no asesame mu akwanya se be president wo man mu for just 1 week. With 3 steps I'll be taking air then. What be some mesreye? Mesreye because I know my baby or makuma so me person me. I know my baby. But there are 3 important things that I want my dream one and not make catch them say I need to do. One of them and they say me say na Ghana for 2 about me be do my issue. My first action I take and they say every state institution, every state enterprise adie bia government in sawo mu bia wo mato 4x4 nyina me toni nyina yeah first step I'm taking no say a flash time house number 1 4x4 so nyina Land Cruisers Lexus and keka ho nyina no me toni nyina Range Rovers me toni nyina na makoto saloon cars am ye yusu ewo man na me to saloon cars ni mpo a me to 60% Ghanaian produced saloon cars na mato 40% ebia foreign countries one we friendly towards your country no mato cars free ho adi entia hwia se hanum say Land Cruisers are ya to wo man think about it. So Ababia take over power our memoir. The first they do is to buy cars. Now your cars be no motor. One motor Land Cruisers, 4x4. Adentia obisa ho. They know perfectly well say woman say ya kwai wo kro muzo enya. The only way they can crisscross the country and is womukuta 4x4. And in some no one more top 4x4. But miniam, young fans say 4x4 could be 80,000 Ghana cedis. And I said $90,000, sir. Nasa auto makumako 100 Cabo say a saying. But so what this auto saloon car. Now auto saloon car for $24,000 or $25,000, sir. Say and was save you. Now there was 7 again onipa da sini abrabomu e okroyimu. Ye can we be beka said about some and ye can wasem but ye beka because and one the brain and ye beka same way say politicians are not thinking about us. Politicians are not seeking our welfare. The reason for which I could mu at the 2 about the moment. One would do one no refie. I feel the offering for one fat. When you pan and call about fear no for edidi. When you pan and call about fear proper fear them no and they will friend now on fat because the title honor has been conferred on him. Makacham who say it's one of the campaigns I'm going to embark on. So one more campaign. No more to 4x4 more. So a MP do muntintia womo. Say a day or pim for at the wheelbarrow mu. Yet need Jim how person not to wheelbarrow mu near the number a quanso and yaso na gigi yet the near call. The politician is not concerned. What Land Cruiser munti papa what no and walk what could do but would Ghana youth we must rise up. And me as to say yama yeni adaho and me as to say yama yeni adaho and me as to say yama yeni adaho. Let's rise and build our country. Mumian sorry nian chichiri yekro. Mumian sorry nian chichiri yekro. Mumian sorry nian chichiri yekro. So mai ebe ya ejina oso womai ebeko yi a ejina oso so mai ebe sora ejina de obeye ene de me so meye ye fa we ento so ye hyase me sanka obianka intermediate meka so pro ya woman penny. One of the alleviating measures or whatever I say yen doctors yen nurses yen midwives when we jina akuna no yen mom ayalolo buses adi omo be ko na adi omo abafie sene omo benya asudwe adi akọ adwuma sene omo benya asundwe adi akwakoye adwumaden ama wo man Ghana na omo kọ wanya hotoso se aye aban yi atawo mo chi but na you little lockdown one check by 5 days by 4 days by 3 days be afedi you say buses here yen frontline health workers no one mo tine mo ade kọ adwuma no yes ya je afro mo nsem. Who advised His Excellency the President say yenji buses no yalolo buses no yenji free doctor for any nurses for no yenji free Muslim and then person who we say who advised the President to take that action? You can't corner mum pebeka. It was a wrong decision to have taken at the time. You may not like it, but I will tell you the truth. It is a wrong decision to have taken at the time. Look, let me give you the reason why Jamaica say, well, it's a wrong decision to have taken at the time. Nurse near walk adwuma walk patients in intensive care ayana madwene you can't doctor for nurses once a month. The focus is on COVID-19. It is only about COVID-19. Yes, say nurse for no more war midwives some more war one more when you more sure HIV AIDS patients kids emergency unit for one more here comfort I want to go adwuma e be akọ adwuma no ehu kakra e wo mumu. There's some small fear and panic in them. They need a comfort to go and work. I am expecting Frontline health workers giving the ayalolo buses till the end of the time I listening to yabaji free and some adentia look on the patient ekotenase wonne di nkomo at the time bia na patient asymptomatic wonu say patient ni awaya ni bi wonne di nkomo awie wo fi honom wo ba fie wo ba fo trotro. Public transport amount function nose mask. Public transport hands sanitizer ni ko mu use no and no be frodi abafie na what nem na say nyame manem ba na sana sa nurse no sa midwife no sa doctor no or infected with sad diseases COVID-19 yeah. Can you imagine the number of people that individual is going to infect? Why do we do this to ourselves? A little small benefit. Ya be my health professional see amomo ku o ya adwuma no and this is Jeff from nsem. Abba, who advised His Excellency the President? On the man is no. Sheminia, and Sana Ayalolo buses in Semsemi Kobano. There's a sister networker. They took the initiative to provide those buses for free. And I can tell you for a fact, sir, if that sister network was still using that platform Ayalolo now, by this time, come to us, I won't shy away from mentioning, sir, CTFM for the status initiative, no. One more shot, Siana Abbas, yay, Yadi and Sassom, Yanka Sabaya, no. And then he now drew. Government must restore the Ayalolo buses for the frontline works. And Che Bia na many nurses be a dinkomo. For Isaac Mammy no be sa voice in the farmer. Many nurses a dinkomo, many doctor for a dinkomo about the withdrawal of the Ayalolo buses. No. You should listen to them and their concerns, their reason about the withdrawal of the Ayalolo buses. Why? Why can't we provide just a little comfort for our nurses, for our doctors, for our midwives? Sure, yeah, can you enrich me beside? Sir, nurses no, what market you are about na se abampa sa waivers any offense increment I was about more as at the time I'm checking this week, me checking and I think it was Tuesday as the same, and I'm checking, then buy it. Etimoni pane a little comfort. No from kuni hun konko ya adwuma no was my dear friend nsem. Aden. O man panyi mi to me. Na dia me be srewo anasa de sre dia me de ma on de say. Sir, restore the Ayalolo buses for the frontline health workers. They need it. We need it for our own sake. Restore the Ayalolo buses for the frontline health workers. We would appreciate it. Happy 98.9 FM. And also go so with Epahuan Daben and Utie and Awi Wabra Yadi and so Ebro Ewajmedia so. Yabon Paris said once so Utie now they will take message in the airbrain. Your WhatsApp line no 02022222067. Yeah, twa Juni F4 Magana home now so dear airbrain. And now Nankasa we MPP.